The super year 2020 has been shattered by COVID-19. The year science has been very clear. We need to bend the global curve of emissions and start a trajectory where we cut emissions by half every decade to have a fossil fuel-free world economy by mid-century to stand a 66% chance of delivering on the Paris climate target of staying well below 2 degrees Celsius and aiming for 1.5. 5 years into the Sustainable Development Goals, 5 years into the Paris Agreement, the year when we were supposed to turn things around to decisively move towards an equitable, sustainable future for humanity on Earth. Now, this was clearly postponed. A pause button has been forced upon us, but still we have entered the decisive decade, the decade of transformation. A question is, what have we experienced in 2020 apart from COVID-19 in this interconnected reality we live in? Well, it's almost like ages ago, as if we barely remember how it started. It started with the most devastating, unprecedented forest fires ever recorded in Australia, with massive catastrophic impacts on humans and wildlife, but also causing 900 million tons of carbon dioxide emissions in a pulse because of the burning trees and biomass, which is twice as much fossil fuel burning that the whole country causes over one entire year. This is a year when we have recorded just a shocking 38 degrees Celsius temperature in the Siberian tundra up in the Arctic, causing massive wildfires, permafrost thawing, and disease outbreaks. It's a year of another record low in Arctic sea ice. It's also a year of record low in Greenland permanent ice. The pace of melting continues. Just like on West Antarctica, the pace of melting continues unabated and is following the worst case scenarios that we have so far. We also have the devastating floods in Bangladesh affecting millions. We also have the drought conditions in East Africa, which started already in 2019, causing aggravated food insecurity, with desert locusts then invading, undermining even more food security in, for example, Kenya, which collides with the whole COVID-19 crisis because of food riots in a situation of the need of social distancing and the fundamental requirement of harmony in urban and rural areas to deal with the health crisis. The perfect storms of interconnected environmental, social, and health-related crises playing out right in front of our eyes. But as if that was not enough, my biggest worry is actually not all these extreme event impacts we're seeing. It is that we're starting to move uncomfortably close to crossing tipping points in the large commons on the planet that regulates the state of the whole Earth system. It was just a few months before the COVID-19 crisis that we published a 10-year update on the tipping elements analysis, the big biophysical systems regulating the state of the planet. We find that 9 of the 15 known tipping elements, among them like the Greenland ice sheet, Arctic sea ice, the Atlantic overturning system of heat, the West Antarctic ice shelf, 9 of these 15 are showing signs of being on the move, meaning that they are moving too close to comfort towards tipping points, which could mean that they shift over from being current our best friends, dampening and reducing impacts of unsustainable pressures, into shifting over into becoming self-reinforcing and self-amplifying systems that could take us to a point where we cross tipping points, press on buttons, and have unstoppable drift away from manageable conditions for 7.7, soon to be 9-10 billion co-citizens on Earth, handing over to all future generations a planet in a worse state. This is why we, again, a few months before COVID-19, together with the Club of Rome, sat down and concluded that now we have to consider declaring a state of planetary emergency. That is not taken lightly. That's not something you do more than potentially once in the human existence on planet Earth. We do it on an assessment of catastrophic risks, but also on the fact that we're running out of time, that we've entered the decisive decade when we need to turn things around. the remaining global carbon budget is only something like 300 gigatons of carbon dioxide. Like, not much more than just what would be required in order to build cities for rapidly growing urban populations if we continue using cement and construction materials as today. This is the turnaround point. I would argue that what we now need is a scientific framework that connects the planet with people, and that we have a transformation towards an equitable and prosperous future for all humans within the safe operating space of planetary boundaries. I hope that the Klosters Forum, this decisive year of turbulence in 2020, becomes a starting point for that transformation. Good luck in the deliberations. Thank you very much.